So now let's take a look at rendering. Now, you are going to need to render in the proper materials at some point, but right now, drop down from Model, pick Render, and it will show you the model that you have so far. We want to talk about appearance, okay? Now, the first thing I'm going to suggest is as you are working, you might very well want to work in something that is transparent. I happen to like the blue glass. This works for me. Oh, I have to drop them on everything. Okay, maybe I can I do this over here? No. All right. So the cool thing about this is that it's um, it's transparent and you can see what's going on in the interior spaces. Move this around. A few more things to drop this onto. If you are doing something complex, like some of the examples you guys picked up on your Pinterest boards have the interior curves that look like a shell, something like that, right? Oh, let me get this back bit. Just pick up your material and drop it on the body, by the way, FYI. This is also one of the reasons that you need to have all of these separate bodies so that you can have different materials, right? So this you can see into, you can see clearly. If, for example, you wanted to have a little stand on the inside that your phone would sit down on, so it's a little bit raised off of the bottom, which you might want, this makes it easier to do. Yeah, it makes it much easier to do. So I'm going to go back to my model for a moment, and you can see how that rendering stays with, and now makes it so I can sort of functionally see what I'm doing. Now, another thing that you could do, which would not be a bad plan, is to make a model of your phone in a really basic sense. I think I made this 70 wide. I'm going to make this on this plane because I want it to line up with my little opening. Oh, I should probably have done it. Oh, well, poo. Let's hit the escape button. When in doubt, hit the escape button. Let's try this box. I actually want to line it up on that plane because I want it to go into the opening the way I want it to go into the opening. Now, I don't actually want this to be 70. I want it to be, let's do 68. Oops. Fine. 68. Which direction is my 68? I don't know. No. Okay. That is what I want to be 68. And then tab the other way. Tab the other way, I want that to be, if my phone is 68 wide, let's go with, what, 240? How does that look? Proportionally phone-like? Whoa, no. How about 100? Nope. How about one? This is why you make your measurements before you get started, people. All right, that's not so bad. Good. And my phone is probably more than 3 millimeters, but let's make it 3 millimeters. And that should be okay. And I don't want to cut with it. I want to make a new body. So I want to be able to move it around. So that's working for me. Now, it's obviously not placed where I want it. Hit the M. And I want to move this guy. Now, I want to move this guy straight up, right? And I want to then put it, and this is where you could go back to alignment, right? You could go back and align the bottom corner, but I can kind of do this. And we can see that there's a little gap there. If I wanted to make that gap a little bit bigger, I want it to bounce off the bottom, right? You can see it's going in at an angle. How high I want that to bounce off, I'm not sure, but that doesn't look too bad. So I'm going to say okay. And let's go back to this and realize that it's not exactly leaning where I want it, but it's pretty close. So now we have the opportunity to go back in and re-render this in a material that is representational of what we are planning to actually use. So we go back over here and go back to the render palette, the render interface. And we have this. We're going to go back to appearance, pull this up. We have some options. You can just pull this over and drop it in. It should be fine. If you want to go, that's roughly the same color, glossy, as the wood that we're using. If you wanted to think about it, what would it look like as a darker stain? You can do that too. Not that it wants to do that, but that's another option. Try to be a little bit consistent. If you're planning on staining it all the same, you should be able to drag that over. Uh-oh, my computer's thinking about a whole bunch of different things. We can always go back up to this, right-click on it, and say unassign and delete. Then you can go grab one of the other things, and we should be able to drop that on to, to the plane, or the body that we want to put it on. Why is it not cooperating? All kinds of fun. Nope. Could be that it's thinking too much. A bit. But as you can see, I've worked on the front. It will work for the other ones. You can put the material, there we go, on the bodies. Have a little patience. Particularly the first time you do this. Like you have to, if you download the materials, decide which ones you're going to use, right? That's this, download the material. Make sure you've got it before you start using it. That would make some sense. That kind of thing. The other interesting component here, let me keep going around until we get at least the box bit all made out of our wood that we're planning on using, is if you decided, like instead of making all the holes on this piece of wood like we started to do here, that you're like, oh, you know, instead, I think I want to use, where is my material? Leather and cloth. And I want to use a black fabric instead. Oop, we have to download that too. This is what happens. All right, black fabric, now it's downloaded. Now I should be able to drop that on there. Yay! So you can make this look pretty professional, right? And let's say we're going to go back to, where are we? Where's our plastic? Plastic. Opaque. Glossy black. That's already downloaded. Yay. I'm going to drop that on my phone so it looks glossy black. Meh, whatever. You could also put a decal on here. Like, it's kind of fun. If you had a picture of your phone, you could put it on this surface and it would look like your phone. Which I should probably do. Give me a second, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so back to that decal thing I was talking about. You select here, go down to decal. Okay, we're still in render mode. I want to select an image. I have to go get the image. I just shot my phone. I cropped the picture. Uh-oh, where did it download to? Downloads? Oh, there we go. Cropped the picture, downloaded it. Now I'm going to upload it. No problem. Select a face to place the image. Boom. Okay, it would be good if we rotated that. Oh, okay, so we're going to have to rotate it this way, which we can do, and line it up, which is totally not lined up. And there we go. That's not so bad. We can do that. We are going to have to make it bigger, right? So grab a corner here and scale it up. And then I'm going to bring it down so I can see the top of my phone on the thing. That's not so bad. Apparently, I should have made rounded corners on my phone when I created the box. And we can't see inside, so I'm going to assume that the decal is where I need it to be. We'll do that. All right, close enough. Boom. Right now, It looks like a phone in my amplifier. That makes me happier. I still have to get rid of the little tail thing over there, but whatever. Oop, I forgot to render this back bit. My bad. Appearance. I want the back to also be not that, not that. They have glossy oak, I think is what I tossed on there. Is that on the back? Ah, cancel. I only want that on that little back piece. That piece right there. Boom. Okay, then. Then we can go back to, ignore the fact that you see that from the back. We can go back to our model mode. Bingo. And things are looking pretty good here. Now, this is sort of step one, but one of the things you have to also consider, actually I'm going to go back to render mode for a minute, is that with the render mode, we also, we want to get our screenshots of your designs here, right? Not, there we go, not with the grid in the background. And you can go into scene settings. You can make it a little brighter, right? If you wanted to. A little darker, a little brighter. Hello, that should slide. There we go. You can make an environment, use a solid color. If you're like gray is just not your thing, fine. You can put it in like a pink background. You can put it in a pale blue. Maybe we want to match my icons. Let's apply that and see what happens. Oh, that's really horrible. There's sort of a reason they do something of a neutral, but it doesn't have to be gray necessarily. It could be something else. You can, ooh, here's another thing. Reflections. You can give yourself that nice shiny background thing going on. Go back to pan, move ourselves around here. That's looking pretty good, right? So when you are doing your images for your blog and for your portfolio, you can do this. Under in-canvas render, you can do capture image. Please, 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 let's make this a decent resolution. All right. That is the current document size. We could make it maybe a little bit bigger. That's fine. You can do a transparent background if you wanted to, but I kind of like my turquoise, so I'm going to do that. And you can call this like 3/4 view 1. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. A ping file. And then you're going to want a view from another perspective. Lo and behold. Hello. You're going to be able to do this. Oh, things are freezing up a little bit. You can pan around. You should be able to go up here to this. Fine, we'll orbit this way. Get a different view. Make sure we get a side view. Make sure you get the back. Right? Whatever's going to be relevant. Then you can go back and capture blah, blah. Do it again. Call them whatever you like. And then those will appear in your data panel eventually. So your pictures will show up over here. That's pretty much it for now. We will tackle more of this as we go. And I look forward to seeing your designs and more interesting designs than what I was able to do here. Off we go.